Hello and welcome to the first edition of Ask the CEO. I'm Gemma Galdon-Clavell. I'm the CEO at Ethicas. I've been working on responsible tech and accountable AI for the last 15 years. And I started Ethicas AI last year because I could see how a lot of bright minds that were gearing the technical world into amazing new directions with AI were really good at coming up with innovation, but not so good at coming up with the mechanisms that will ensure that technical innovation is also good for people and not just good for business. I draw a lot from what's happened in other fields. Basically, humanity has been amazing at creating new things. We've been innovating ever since forever, from the wheel to knives to skyscrapers. And now it's the era of tech and AI. And if there's something we can learn when we look back at innovation, is that innovation always happens and it's afterwards followed by a period in which society tries to come up with not just the positive of that innovation, but also what are the negative externalities that need to be mitigated. Like, think about cars. Cars, when they were invented, they didn't have seat belts. We came up with seat belts over time because we realized that that was the best way to protect people. When planes were first developed, no one thought about air traffic controlling, and so planes would crash and fall on people because we hadn't thought about what does it mean to have planes everywhere. There was a time when you could buy cocaine in pharmacies in the 19th century because no one had thought about what if the things that end up in pharmacies don't cure people but actually make their problems worse. And so the problem that we have right now with AI is fairly similar. We have the innovation, but we don't have the mechanisms, the seatbelts that are going to ensure that people are protected. And that's why a lot of times when people talk about AI, there's more fear than enthusiasm around technical innovations. And so in a way at Ethicas AI, we want to save tech from itself. We want to make sure that we can make the most of technological innovation by incorporating people's concerns and safety issues into the development of AI. And so what we have developed is software that allows us to audit AI systems. And what we audit specifically is their impact. Like, think of us like the clinical trials of AI. When you come up with a vaccine, when a pharmaceutical company comes up with a vaccine, they do lots of tests and research in lab settings. And then once things work well in lab settings, they have to do clinical trials. That is when the vaccine is tested on actual humans to see how that vaccine performs on humans, whether it performs similar on different groups of the population. And before it can actually be sold or inoculated to people, it needs to prove that it is safe for most people, or at least the people that it's tailored for, that it's being developed for. It's safe for them to use. So what we do with our software is it's something quite similar to that. We add that layer of information, of understanding of how systems impact on society by mobilizing what we call our own socio-technical libraries of data and information that allow us to see, so what happens when real human beings are interacting with those systems? What happens when we have different populations using these AI solutions? Or there are differences in use? Or there are things that we thought worked well in a lab setting that when we see actual people using it, actually things change. And so we build that corpus of data and we give it back to our clients so that their development teams can then work out what things need to be fixed to ensure that the impact layer is taken into account. Just like clinical trials are not just the regulatory exercise. Through clinical trials, clinical teams and development teams also learn about how to improve those vaccines. So when we audit, we do exactly the same thing. We create data that engineers will never come up with because their role is to work in the model, to have metrics for accuracy and performance of AI models. Once they've developed a model, we need that additional layer of impact that we do through our algorithmic audits. So at Ethicas AI, that's what we specialize on. We bring that additional knowledge that ensures that once AI hits the market, hits the population, it does it in conditions of safety and trustworthiness. And now you may ask, okay, so let's just get all the developers to make sure that they audit their systems and that whenever they sell something, that thing that they sell is safe. Well, yes, but that's not enough. One of the specific issues that we find with AI is that their impact, what happens when there's an interaction between the machine and the human, between the AI and the users, is that layer of impact is always concrete. And so a developer may audit their systems, but it's only once we see, okay, so there's a bank that is using this AI model to make decisions on mortgages and loans. It's a large employer that uses hiring AI to make decisions on who gets hired or fired or who gets a performance bonus. Or there's a public administration that is using AI to make better decisions internally, and the impact can only be assessed in that specific context. And so that layer of clinical trials, we also bring that contextual element of understanding what does that AI system mean in this specific context, and what are the data, the information that we need to gather from that AI system while it impacts on real users, and what is the information that the technical teams are going to need to improve that system. And so yes, developers need to audit their systems, but basically any company, any organization that is using an AI for anything, if you are segmenting your marketing population using AI, if you are making hiring or firing decisions, if you are using AI for diagnosing diseases in a medical setting, if you work at a bank or financial institutions and you're making decisions on who your clients should be or how much credit people should get, if you are using AI systems, you are responsible to ensure that the way that these systems are used is ultimately fair for users, and that users can trust that they're being treated fairly and that the system understands their characteristics and their context. And so basically anyone developing or using AI needs an AI audit that allows them to have that information that makes systems better, just like clinical trials make vaccines better, just like seatbelts make cars better, just like air traffic controls make planes safer. So if you're interested into what we do, if you think that you may need an AI audit, if you think that your technical teams need to improve their understanding of a system by also understanding how people and societies are affected by it, if you think that you'll have a lot more peace of mind if you actually understand how your systems work and how they function against different groups of the population, please reach out to Etica's AI, and we'd love to have a conversation with you about how to make your AI better.